Hello everybody and welcome to my channel. My name is Gabrielle Ray and I present cases of missing persons, the unidentified, and unsolved homicides. Today I will be presenting the missing persons case of Jonathan Tucker, who has been missing since September 7th, 2020 out of Hammond, Louisiana. He was born on November 26th, 1997. He is a black male who stands at 5'5" to 5'10", and weighs 120 to 130 pounds, with black hair and brown eyes. He has tattoos on both arms, and his birth name is Jonathan Williams, and at the time of his disappearance, he had a short fade hairstyle. He was 22 at the time of his disappearance, but he was described as a quiet boy, but he was happy. He loved motorbikes, four-wheelers, mopeds, horses, and fast things. He was adopted by a woman named Catherine Tucker, or we will call her in this Miss Tucker. And he became one out of the 15 kids that Miss Tucker had. He was loved and nurtured. He came into this house because I asked God to help me have a place to raise him, a place to be safe, said Miss Tucker. Miss Tucker worked as a Hammond State school teacher. Miss Tucker knew his birth mother and her grandma before she adopted him, and his natural father was in jail. A lady named Miss Kate carried him to her. At the time, he was a pudgy little 3-year-old with chubby cheeks and a big smile. And Miss Tucker thought, if he can love Miss Kate like that, he can love me. She had always wanted to adopt children, and he was the only child that her and her husband had adopted. He worked for 7 years at Taco Bell, and he was recently laid off due to the store closing due to COVID-19, and the fast food company's West Thomas location is where he worked. He recently had to file for unemployment, and the first time and the second time he applied, he was denied, but his application was accepted on the third time he applied. After he finally received his first payment, they sent him the previous 2 weeks to pay retroactively, said his sister, Crystal Jackson. He always had to be the hero. He was the one who protected his friend group. His friends would step back, and he'd be the one left standing in front, said Miss Tucker. Reverend Spiller Milson, a cross-the-street neighbor, fondly recalls taking him on fishing trips with his grandson and keeping him in his home after school until Miss Tucker got home. As a child, he was faithful at Bible Way Ministry, which was pastored by Miss Tucker's nephew, Reverend Johnny Dunomes, and made friends with other boys in the congregation. And as a teenager, he stopped going to church and started developing other friends. Miss Tucker sent the kids to Ponchatoula High School, and it was under the minority-to-minority plan that promotes school desegregation. 4 months shy of his graduation in high school, he was caught with a gun on campus. A friend hid the gun in his truck, and he was afraid that another group of boys would attack him when he got out of school. He told the friend, "Give me the gun," and he would hide it behind his back, but somebody caught him on video. Miss Tucker mortgaged her home in order to get him out of jail, and relied on an old school friend, attorney Mike Nunnery, to represent him in court. He earned his GED and tried to stay out of trouble after that. But Miss Tucker could see that there was an anger building up in him. Last time he was arrested, about 1 month or 2 months ago, in 2020, I was getting gas. He came out of the store furious and said the guys in the store were fooling with him. I said, "Jonathan, are you going to fight all them by yourself?" And when they came out of the store, he said, "Oh, you're talking your stuff? Let's get it on." And there was so much anger in him, said Miss Tucker. The police came and seized some guns and arrested everyone. And it was later said that his friends all had guns and got them on the streets. Before his disappearance, his sister had asked if he needed to go clothes shopping for his Uncle Charles Terry's funeral. A few days after that, on September 7th, 2020, he was last seen in the 600 block of Susan Drive. And Susan Drive was in West Hammond's Lakeview subdivision, just off of Old Baton Rouge Highway. He showed Miss Tucker his bank account balance the day of his disappearance and told her that he'd help pay for a new roof for her home. At 6:30 p.m., he went out with a friend, an African-American male driving an older model white Lexus with rims, to celebrate Labor Day, but he never returned. It was said that he spent the night out partying, and he went out with his usual group of friends. The next day, September 8th, Miss Tucker waited patiently for his return. "I don't want to crowd him. He's always done what he says he will do, and that's how he is," said Miss Tucker. Crystal also began looking for him on that day as well, and the family became concerned when they were unable to reach him by phone because it was turned off. "I felt like it was a red flag when I called it, and it was kind of like his phone was turned off. He's not the type of person that would let his phone die. And even if he was short on paying his phone bill, he'd borrow money from me or someone else before he'd let it shut off," said his sister. He didn't show up for his uncle's funeral on September 9th, 2020, which loved ones don't believe that he would have missed. After the funeral, Miss Tucker went to the streets to ask his friends if they'd seen him. They said he wasn't answering their calls either. He was reported missing the same day as the funeral, and his sister was the one who filed the missing persons report. It was investigated by Tangipahoa Parish Sheriff's Office, and his sister was worried because of his unemployment payments going onto that bank card that he was targeted for having a large amount of cash in his possession at the time of his disappearance. Since 2020, there has not been very many leads or tips that have come into fruition in a period of about a year, but police say that they are following up every lead and every tip, and they are not giving up on this case. Foul play is suspected, and Hammond Councilman Devon Williams told the Daily Star that he is his nephew and is prepared to use all its public connections to assist in the investigation. "We will keep fighting, and we will keep publicizing our loved one's case, and we hope that one day a call comes," said a family member. The family is raising reward money for anybody who has any information that could lead to an arrest or conviction in this case, and Crime Stoppers is also offering a $2,500 reward. Over $1,000 was raised out of $2,500 on a GoFundMe made by his sister Crystal. Miss Tucker still sees him in her dreams and in her mind's eye. "I call him a warrior. He felt he had this purpose in life to help and protect his friends. He wasn't going to let anyone mess with his friends. That was his choice. It was the house he made for himself, and it may have cost him his life." In June of 2021, there was a break in the case. Authorities named Christy B.B. McKnight as a suspect in this case and issued a warrant for her arrest for obstruction of justice. This revelation came after not really hearing much information in between a period of time of about 2020 to 2021. The authorities have not really mentioned any more clues or had many news articles since then. So it's great to see that there's been movement in this case. But unfortunately, she remains at large and may be in the Houston or Katy areas of Texas. She was entered into a national database as a wanted person. His dentals are unavailable, but luckily his DNA is available. Today he would be 24 years old. That is all the information that I could find on the disappearance of Jonathan Tucker. And it's safe to say that this case is very, very baffling. I would like to see a resolution in this case, and I just can't imagine how this family is feeling. Every day they wake up and know their loved one is gone. That's not fair, and especially hearing rumors and all the stories that might be floating around the area, and not to mention a suspect who has ties to this case is on the run still. And just knowing that is so unsettling, and I can't even imagine how this family is feeling, and the grief and the loss and the lack of peace. I really just want to see this family get some good sleep at night, finally. And hopefully, you know, with all the love that they have for this boy, it makes me absolutely, you know, heartbroken. It's safe to say, though, that law enforcement is keeping up on this case, and that is absolutely amazing, because sometimes we see cases where the missing person is just swept under the rug. And it doesn't look like that's happening in his case, which is absolutely fantastic. I'm sure that every time the anniversary of his disappearance comes to light that his family is just going through so much turmoil. And I really hope in my heart that somebody comes forward with information. Because I know that somewhere, someone knows something. I mean, people, especially in their 20s or younger in age, they are known to talk. People talk. And I'm sure that not just one person knows what happened here. I really, really hope that somebody finds it in their heart to do the right thing. Just do the right thing and get this family some rest. Get them some justice. It's not fair that it's been nearly 2 years. We're coming up on 2 years that he's been missing. That's 2 years too long. I really can't stress it enough. Do the right thing. Come forward. You know, it's absolutely, it tears at my heartstrings knowing that foul play is suspected in this case. Even authorities said it. That's not fair. It's just not fair. And I know that day in and day out, this family is searching for answers. I mean, hey, there's a GoFundMe page so the family can raise some money for a reward, because, you know, money talks. And I hate that it's like that. I hate that they even have to pay to get somebody to speak up. Thank God Crime Stoppers came in and is offering a little bit of a reward too. But it shouldn't be like that. It really should not be like that. And he shouldn't even be missing. But since, unfortunately, he has disappeared, we need to keep this in the front lines of our minds. And know that he is a person. He's not just a face on a missing poster. He had a family. He has friends and people who care about him. And they still care about him. And they want to know what happened. If you or anybody you know have any information on this case, please contact the Hammond Police Department at 985-277-5700. His name is case number is MP77239, and his agency case number is 2020-020895. Please, somebody, come forward. I can't stress it enough how important it is for this family to get some closure. I know that no matter what, it's not going to get their son back, it's not going to get their family member back, but just have the common decency to let them know what happened. And if you are responsible, just have a heart, please, and thank you. And once again, he was born on November 26, 1997. He is a black male who stands at 5'5" to 5'10", and he weighs 120 to 130 pounds, with black hair and brown eyes. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful night.